Well, with Milholland, we see a lot of our customers are purchasing solar rather than leasing. Because we've been in business for 25 years, they know we're going to be around to take care of the systems, that we're installing systems that are very well made and are going to last. If you're unsure about the company you're with, a lease may be the option, because the system then is owned by a finance company who, their interest is to keep the system going. So they maintain it, they insure it, they make sure it's going to work, and you get a production guarantee. So, those are two of the big differences there.
Now, with the lease, the other thing about that is too, as we were talking about before. Now, number one, the payback on a purchase is a quicker payback and a better. So if you can afford to do it, and that's a good idea for you. For some people, is lease ever a good idea? Or if you maybe aren't going to be in the house as long, or if you're somebody that just doesn't want to have any worries, is there ever a time when the lease is the right call and you recommend somebody do it?
When we recommend a lease to people, it's somebody who doesn't have a tax appetite. Maybe they're retired, they're not paying a lot in taxes, and they're never going to recover the 30% federal tax credit that's available. So with a lease, the lessor takes the tax credit and passes that savings on to the customer. But during the break, I looked up a few dollars and cents here, and a lease and a PPA are averaging about 16 cents per kilowatt hour for the charge.
Why don't you explain what a PPA is so the listeners understand the difference between that and a lease?
So they're very similar. The PPA and a lease, the equipment, the system is owned by somebody else. It's maintained by a third party. And then you have, with a lease, you have a guarantee that the system will produce X amount of kilowatt hours, and anything over that is yours to keep. It's just excess for you. A PPA, you're purchasing the kilowatt hours that are being produced at a set price. So if it overperforms, then you're paying more for it. If it underperforms, then you're paying less, but then you have to pay more for your utility energy.
You're basically partners with whoever that group is that's the PPA, right? So, I mean, doing solar, you're trying to control your costs and not have someone regulating you and raising rates and all that, like the big power company. To me, the PPA would be the last thing you'd want to do. You'd lease or own is going to be the best deal for someone.
Correct, yeah. Purchasing the system is obviously the best deal. There's a lot of confusing, this discussion we're having shows that there's a lot of confusing information out there. And that's where Milholland consultants really come into play. We come out and we explain everything to you. We take our time. We spend a lot of time in the home with the customers to make sure that they understand every option available and that they select the best option available for them.